Hey guys, this is Mike the Wrestling Guy Smith. I just got through my NXT and AEW review for the night. You can watch that once this thing is. I'm about to talk about Kairi Sane. So I know I'm a little late to it, but I'm not really late because I did see Raw and I saw the match. I'm disgusted. I really am. I'm disgusted because you know what? I don't want her to leave WWE. She is great. I don't want her to go back to Stardom. I don't because she is great. I like her, and I'm mad at the fact that WWE again. This is what I hate. They don't know what to do with all this talent they have. And this is the sad part I get mad about because it's not a rant video, guys. I'm just telling you my concerns about it. She should have went to SmackDown. That should have been their thing. Because they're making Oscar the face of the company, which I'm cool with. And I like that they have a tag team with them, her as well. But I want her to be on SmackDown. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. It's the same thing with Nia Jax. They were trying to get rid of her. And this is the thing. They don't know what they want to do with their company. And this is the thing with Vince, too. Vince is always going to be, forever and always, the OG boss of WWE. Triple H will never get a shot. And I'm mad because you know what? He's losing touch. He did the Punk. He did the CM Punk 4 years ago. He did the Punk, and I'm sick of the same freaking backstage politics they don't do. They're doing backstage politics again. And I'm like, you know what? With all this talent y'all bring back, with all this talent, look at Heath Slater. That dude left and he ended up on Impact. I wouldn't be surprised if Kairi Sane goes to AEW. I wouldn't be surprised. Because you know what? Why is every time, like, why does every time in WWE there's somebody who wants to when they want to make a face of a company, they never have two faces. They always have one face every year. Or the franchise of the company, which could have been fine. And they don't do it. They never do. They can never push their, like this thing. NXT does better. Their brand is better because they let the people just do what they need to do. No, it's literally people. It's literally people's brains telling us, "Wait, we can get rid of Kyrie because we don't want her to be the face of the company. Then why don't you let her be the face of SmackDown? Let her have a title reign too. Let her have one. Because I'm tired of the backstage politics. I'm tired. I'm tired of people thinking that wrestling doesn't change because of Vince McMahon. AEW is the freedom ticket to everything I've seen. And I like AEW because their brand actually cares. And that's the sad part. They're losing their talent from all the dudes that WWE turned down, AEW just picks right back up. That's all they do. And that's the saddest part in the world. You took a dude like Luke Harper. Where did he go? He go to AEW. What, Rowan's gonna go too? Street Profits are gonna go? They're gonna go? But it's okay though. It's perfectly okay to do this because they can do it. And that's the thing. Vince don't know he's losing profit by losing dudes. And Heath was the last dude, the last holdout of the original Monday Night Raw crew. And when did that dude end up going? He ended up going to freaking Impact Wrestling, bro. He showed up on Impact Wrestling and wore a free agent shirt and called himself Heath. Like, dude, he don't get no money. He got kids, and this dude getting screwed again. They couldn't even make him a decent champion. They'll never make him a champion. At least Impact will probably get him to be World Heavyweight Champion after a while. But look what they do with Impact. Look what Impact does with their talent. We got Rob Van Dam working there. We got Eddie Edwards. We got a whole bunch of dudes. We got EC3 coming back from WWE, the same company he left to go to WWE. But you know what? I digress. I digress. I do. I digress so much I hate it. I digress. Because the brains of the operation is that here's my joke. I don't want to feel. I don't want Kyrie. I don't. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. I don't like when Vince or Pritchard or anybody who's running that bloody show or running that company doesn't get that you lost an incredible talent that could have been great. That's my problem. That's my problem because this is the thing about wrestling that people don't understand. Wrestling is real. The scripts, the promos are not scripted. All this is coming off the top of the head. The title's real. The 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 to develop your ability as a wrestler is real. And people need to realize it's not fake. It's not. It's not what it used to be. The indies have changed it every time. But all these companies like Ring of Honor, New Japan, all these companies that came and went have changed the game again. It was the same thing with ECW bringing their own style of extreme version of wrestling to the world. And AEW is proof of that, and NXT is proof of that because it's a brainchild of somebody else's plan. They went from from being a reality show to an actual wrestling company and a brand. Thousands of guys like us, regular guys who want to be wrestlers, don't even get to make it to NXT. We get there, we don't get that contract. I've seen that contract, that offer. See, everybody don't get that the wrestling, the traveling, everything Kairi Sane did in NXT wasn't a small feat. She came in and she did something with Kairi Sane. And Kairi Sane, with her and Io Shirai, with them being their own thing and doing their own thing, and her going heel and losing the match and losing her mind and hitting Candice LeRae at the time, made her the best champion we've had now. So I say this. I wouldn't be surprised if she came back as a heel. I wouldn't be surprised if she came back in AEW and won the championship from Hikaru. I wouldn't be surprised because it's the first thing I've seen and the last thing I've seen before. And this is why I get so tired of people firing other people for nothing. For nothing. Because you know what? This is Vince's thing. Vince's biggest thing. Vince's thing is always, I'm going to make you a star, but I'm going to use you. Same thing with Jordan Miles, who could have been a star if they gave him the time. Nah, Vince wasn't cool with that. They couldn't make him a star. They love Keith Lee. Keith Lee is great. Keith Lee could have mentored him and just gave him a little bit of blood. A little bit. We haven't seen Jordan Miles since. We haven't seen him. The same guy who showed up with Bronson Reed, who showed up with Boa, who showed up with all these dudes and Xia Li and all these people who came in, the third generation of guys who came in. And Kairi Sane was in that generation. She was in the Mae Young Classic and did her thing with Shayna Baszler, did her thing and fought her to death. And this is idiotic. This is why I get idiotic and I get mad because this is why I get so tired of hearing it. That, oh, they'll just go to Impact or, oh, they'll be okay in Impact. No. I don't care what Cultaholic says. I don't even care what Wrestle Talk says. That they should be great. No. Okay? Impact is the second. That's like the lowest form of wrestling company because of Dixie Carter made a bad rep. We had Jeremy Borash who couldn't even get good in. You still got Matt Striker who don't do anything. That guy left. He ended up going to Impact. He went to be a guest announcer on Impact. So did Al Snow. All the dudes that hired them went somewhere. And let's not forget Coach, who became the big guy on SportsCenter, who went there and became a god. And I'm mad. Because they had opportunity to make Kairi a greater champion or probably a better champion just like Asuka could have been. They could have been the greatest thing ever. But they never include people who are just like Asuka or just like Charlotte, just like Sasha Banks. Nobody gets a break out of this in the industry. And I'm tired of that. This is my thing. When I hear something like this, I gotta say something. I'm tired of people getting fired for nothing. I'm tired of people getting their releases because WWE doesn't want to play ball with them. They don't want to play ball with them. I'm going to give another reference. The freaking Revival. Those two. The two greatest tag team specialists that I've seen since the Dudley Boys, since even NWO. Guys like that who came from the 80s went into the 90s and literally ruined it, like Los Guerreros. And you know what's funny? Vicky Guerrero, the former GM of SmackDown and Raw, that nobody wants to talk about, went to AEW and showed up as Nyla Rose's manager, which is the craziest thing, and I can't believe she's back. But I'm happy though. And the sad part is, you get rid of Paul Heyman, but he's still in Raw though. He doesn't do nothing. He don't do nothing because he went from being an ECW dude, he went from making his own company, his own money, and paying dudes off and making money, and the rise and fall of ECW could have worked. They went differently with Shane Douglas, and what happened to Shane Douglas? Dude became the franchise of that company and did the biggest thing in the world and had friends and had dudes and still failed. And yet, Sandman, Terry Funk, Tommy Dreamer, all the ECW hardcore with Raven, Rhino, all those dudes who went and got far from the WWE, went to Impact in literally 2005 to 2014 to 2011. It's about 15 years of wrestling decadence of Impact because Hulk was there and Dixie Carter went in there and took their thing. No, what did they do? Impact was trying to be WCW for everybody. Because Jeff Jarrett didn't just show up. Sting showed up. Booker showed up. Steiner showed up. Kevin Nash showed up. And dudes like Kevin Nash, AJ Styles, Ric Flair, and Mick Foley. The same guy who was 42 or 45 at the time, still trying to wrestle because they wanted him to wrestle. The same dude who created his own faction called Fortune came in there. Nah, but you know what, guys? I'm not mad at the fact that everybody gets fired, they go somewhere and they get better treatment. That's why Vince loses all the time. That's why when you see Kairi, I'm gonna tell you guys, this is not a prediction, this is a spoiler. I'm gonna tell you, she's going to AEW. Kairi Sane is coming to AEW. You know why she's gonna be there? Because she's gonna go, her one obstacle is Hikaru Shida and the rest of that division. And she'll come in and she'll beat them all. She'll beat them all on the spot. And Cody's going to call her and give her that exclusive, and Tony Khan's going to let her do whatever she wants to do. Because that's why AEW is different. That's why I'm mad at the main roster, because they don't try to let them do what they want to do, or let them be who they can be. It's all about dressing them up into a gimmick that doesn't work for them. That's the sad part. Look what happened to Paige. She got fired, came back as a general manager. That's the sad part. And the strangest thing, nobody doesn't even know what's going on. All these wrestlers they had, Alberto Del Rio, who literally went from going to WWE, who went into Impact and said, I had a problem. I slapped the guy in the face because I was angry. That's what you did. And you had money. You had everything you could want. And you still fell for the oldest trick in the book. And I'm mad about that. Byron Saxton, the guy who's still there. Ricardo Rodriguez, not even there. He's never there. He's never there. We haven't even seen that dude. All the dudes they fired and picked up and hired. Joey Styles, ring announcer for WWE. I mean, commentator for WWE. Went on ECW and they called him. They called him and offered him a job. And was happily married, had money, was rich, and was able to retire. Jim Ross. Same guy the greatest commentator who ever lived. Next to Jerry the King Lawler. Left and went to AEW because of all the stuff he was talking about, all the stuff that WCW did and screwed him, and everything that he had in that book that I read that he was talking about. He hates Vince. And Vince didn't even know that. Vince didn't even know that JR hated him. Because he screwed him so many times and fired him and humiliated him on live television. They were best friends, dude. best friends, knew what they wanted to do. Even when King was acting like a perv, he was cool with them and still didn't have no problem with King doing what he loved to do. That was his shtick. And now we get Tom Phillips, we get Samoa Joe and Byron Saxton. And I love Samoa Joe because you know why I love him? He's so hyped that he's a breath of fresh air. He could be just as good as Jim Ross. Just as good as him. And I like him. But like I said with the Kairi Sane thing, I'm tired, bro. She's coming to AEW. She's coming to AEW because it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a future. It's gonna be everything in a nutshell. Because everybody's gonna believe that you know what WWE treated her bad. She's a great performer, and I've seen her on Stardom. I knew who she was. I knew who Yusha Rai was. I was looking people up because I wanted to know who these people were. Same thing when Shinsuke showed up to NXT, and I was looking at Shinsuke. I remember that message he did. He showed up in a hotel room and telling him I'm coming for that title. When he was fighting Sami Zayn, he came up and he showed up. When Samoa Joe showed up, and Samoa Joe showed up, I didn't even know he was coming till I saw NXT and I saw his face. All the dudes from TNA, the two dudes that I loved, Samoa Joe and AJ Styles, showed up. Bobby Roode showed up the next year. And look what they did to Bobby Roode. I haven't seen Bobby Roode yet. I don't even think he's employed by WWE anymore. I haven't seen Bobby Roode. Or Robert Roode. I haven't seen him yet. And the thing is, I want him to be champion. I want him to be on NXT and be champion again so we can see him again, so we can sing his song again. But we'll never get it again. We'll never get Bobby Roode. But anyway, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.